What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. I wanted to get the first video up for PKA right before I went to sleep tonight, and here we go, just versus level 60 to level 79. Of course, once you reach level 80, the gimmicks in this quest are going to change slightly, but I've basically just tailored these teams to take on level 60. Now, the first two clips you see are going to be taking on when it's like not level 60 yet, but just know that the teams with the supports that you may see on them, they all do work against level 60 to level 79. So we'll talk more about it once we get towards the end in the third clip, because that team I think is going to have, well, not that specific team, but that strategy is going to be really good against this particular PKA. And because I was recording these clips so early in the event, you know, not too many people are going to be having Moria, Perona, or Doflamingo and Sugar as friend captains. I do think though that the Doflamingo and Sugar as a friend captain is going to be kind of key in this quest. They just seem really good with their special and just kind of components that they have that are going to make things a little bit easier in this quest. So if you're able to find them as friends, not only are they going to help you clear it, but they'll also give you more additional drops as well. So, you know, it is what it is. We move on here to stage, this is stage 4 now. You do see there's some paralysis and all that, and there is special reverse as well once you get to level 60. We'll have Yamato here to get rid of paralysis and the special reverse. And you do note that, you know, we've got Burgess here on this team. I know not everyone's going to be able to build this specific team, but Burgess is really nice because of the matching slots and the chain boost. Once you get to a certain point though, the enemy will actually give your crew an attack buff, so you're not allowed to actually apply an attack buff. So that's going to be interesting to see how that actually works. It's what it says on the gimmick quest anyway, so we'll see how things go. And then of course, once we reach the final stage, we do use the Cavendish special to remove the enemy's resilience, and he's just a really nice unit to have, honestly. We got Blackbeard of course for his awesome special as well, for a massive orb boost and stuff, and increased damage taken, and the super typing for Driven. All really nice components versus this Lucci quest. Moving on to our secondary team here, and we're just running like a bunch of free-to-play units, although I am using Chopper, Rare Recruit Chopper, which came out with Legend Lilith and Legend Jewelry Bonnie in January of this year. So yeah, even though it's kind of a free-to-play team, but we are using a character, but the Chopper character is literally only here because he removes burn, right? So you could replace him with any other character that removes, like, I think it's 3 or 4 turns of burn you have to remove on the final stage of this quest. So as long as you have the ability to do that, then, you know, you can just replace Chopper with whatever you want. It is kind of interesting because I actually didn't realize this Luffy, by the way, like, he has a special that generates a full board of recovery slots, which is cool. But the thing is Luffy as a captain doesn't actually make recovery slots beneficial, which is kind of frustrating. So we had to find some kind of workaround, and the way that I opted to do that is this free-to-play ulti that has a crewmate ability to make recovery slots beneficial to the whole crew. Ulti special doesn't really matter that much. She does do chain boosting stuff on the turn you use her special, and then if you hit a certain amount of perfects, you get a chain boost in the following turn after that. Doesn't really matter that much though, because the Rare Recruit Chopper that I'm using on this team also does a chain boost. So even though, you know, we do use ulti on stage 4 to carry stuff into stage 5, you don't really have to do that. And of course, this is just purely using free-to-play units to get through level 60 to level 79. So you don't have to worry about it too much if you have better units to use. This is not a team for everyone, but this is a team that is accessible. It has all relatively accessible, I say free-to-play units, except for that Chopper. But as long as you have a way to get around that burn, it's basically all you need for that last slot, of course. The Kobe is really good actually for stage 3. He gets around the special cooldown. He gets rid of Bind and Despair, which occurs on level 60 and above. It's like 5 turns of Bind and Despair, so it ends up being 2 turns of Bind and Despair after socket, so Kobe's really nice for that. And he also gives a bit of a chain buff as well, so just giving you damage to get through stage 3. And then of course we have Luffy for an orb boost and all that to get through the final stage of Lucci. And then we move on to the final team of the video. So this team isn't really using a lot of the point booster characters, but this strategy that we employ in order to get through this quest, I think is actually going to be kind of interesting. I think it's going to be probably one of the best ways for people to get through this, especially once we get to deeper levels, like level 150 or just in the hundreds. This kind of strategy is probably what most people are going to do. Because of the way that this content is designed, they inflict normal attacks only to your crew on stage 4, but it only lasts for 2 turns. So when you actually move into the final stage of the quest, the normal attacks only will expire, allowing you to use damage dealing specials on the opponent on that final stage. This has happened in a couple of other Pirate King adventures in the past, and when this type of strategy has been able to be used, it typically ends up being one of the best strategies to use. So this strategy involves version 1 Trafalgar Law on this team, which doesn't really have any synergy with the rest of the characters on the crew. But the combo of Law with this V2 Dex Doflamingo is amazing, and it works even better if you have further investments with level limit break with these characters, as Trafalgar Law's special will allow your special effects that do damage to, well, at least damage dealing specials that is, bypass enemy defensive effects. And Law also, with his level limit break, inflicts increased damage taken to the opponent, so that's really dope. But then we can use the effect of Doflamingo to, you know, just wave clear the entire final stage. So the best way to do that is to do massive burst damage on stage 4, carrying the overkill damage with V2 Doflamingo into the final stage, and just winning off of that. So basically you want to have as much of your damage as possible on stage 4, your burst turn is the second last stage, and then by using Law into Dofi, you can wave clear the final stage, not even worrying about any of the gimmicks on the final quest. It definitely feels like, you know, on the final stage, there's actually not as like many gimmicks as you would think, but there is a lot of damage reducing stuff that does occur at level 80 and level 100 plus. And for that reason, I do think characters that have abilities that bypass enemy defensive effects are going to be the way forward. Of course, it doesn't give you the best drop rates if you have the new batch characters, which not many people will, but if you have the new batch characters, yes, that's going to be really good for this content. But for those people that are not pulling on this Sugo Fest, then yes, this strategy might be pretty good, but it's probably better to farm, get your turtles done on lower levels, and then once you're trying to grind for level 150 and above, probably adopting a strategy such as this. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.